In the world of tech, things move at lightning speed, right? What's cutting edge today is, well, practically a fossil tomorrow. But what happens when a piece of tech just refuses to fade away, even long after its official expiration date? Okay, let's dive into this really strange and fascinating story.
So, this is the big question we're tackling. We're talking about a web framework called AngularJS. Now, Google, who created it, officially stopped supporting it years ago. And yet, some of the biggest companies out there still depend on it for their most critical operations. So, how is that even possible? And what does it mean for the web?
And this brings us right to the AngularJS paradox. It's this classic tug-of-war between innovation and, good old-fashioned practicality. You've got a technology that, by every official measure, is a relic. But in the real world, it's an absolutely essential part of the digital backbone for a ton of businesses. Now, take a look at this timeline. You see it launch in 2010, hit its peak popularity around 2015, but the date I want you to focus on is that last one, December 2021. That's when Google officially pulled the plug. No more support. That means no more security patches, no more updates, nothing. The fact that a technology is still so widely used years after that date is, well, it's pretty remarkable. And as we're about to see, it's also pretty risky.
So you have to ask, why would any company choose to stay with unsupported tech? It seems completely irrational from the outside, but there's often a very strong business case for this kind of inertia. And it's not about being lazy or behind the times, it's about making some very calculated, very practical decisions. Let's break down exactly why.
So here's the heart of it. For many of these organizations, AngularJS isn't just a piece of code. It's woven into the very fabric of how they operate. It's powering everything from their internal dashboards to the portals their customers use every single day. Their teams know it inside and out, it feels stable because it's a known quantity, and there's a mountain of existing knowledge that makes it cheap to maintain. It all comes down to that old saying, if it ain't broke, why spend a fortune to fix it?
And this right here really illustrates the tough spot these companies are in. It's a classic rock and a hard place scenario. On one side, if you decide to migrate, you're signing up for a massive undertaking. We're talking millions of dollars, years of work, retraining entire teams. But on the other side, if you stay put, you're staring down serious security risks, slower performance, and this creeping thing called technical debt that can basically strangle any future innovation. There's just no easy, clean answer.
But that if it ain't broke calculation, it has a dark side, because just standing still is not a risk-free move. The decision not to migrate comes with its own set of growing dangers. And we're talking about these invisible threats that can impact everything from your data security all the way to your company's basic ability to compete.
One of the biggest dangers is something called technical debt. And honestly, it's the perfect name for it. Think of it just like a financial debt, but for your code. You choose the easy path now, sticking with the old tech, and you're essentially putting the cost of a real fix on a credit card. And that debt, it has to be paid back later, with interest. And that interest payment comes in the form of emergency patches, painfully slow development, and watching your best engineers get frustrated and leave. And this chart just shows the effect of that debt perfectly. As time goes on, more and more of your company's precious resources, we're talking your budget, your best people's time, it all gets sucked into just patching and propping up the old system. And that leaves almost nothing left over for actual innovation, for building the new stuff that's going to help you grow.
So, if a full-scale migration is way too disruptive and just standing still is way too dangerous, what's the solution? Well, the answer seems to be building a bridge to the future. It's all about smart, strategic modernization. It's not about a violent revolution, it's about a carefully planned evolution.
And here's what that actually looks like. Instead of some big bang replacement that could bring everything down, smart companies do it gradually. They start with a really clear plan. They build a hybrid system where the old tech and the new tech can actually work together. And then, bit by bit, they move pieces of the application over one at a time. This minimizes risk and keeps the business running smoothly.
And this right here, this is the key mindset shift. The goal isn't just about ripping out old code and putting in new code. It's a really subtle but powerful change in perspective. You're not demolishing the old house. You're renovating it and building a modern extension. It's about evolving the whole system to meet today's goals, using the stability of that old foundation while you integrate the power of new tools.
So ultimately, this whole story is so much bigger than just one framework. The AngularJS paradox really teaches us a universal lesson about how we manage technology. Every single organization, in every industry, has its own AngularJS, some critical legacy system that's both essential and a ticking time bomb.
So the real takeaway here is that we need to change how we think about the word legacy. It's not a dirty word. As this quote suggests, these systems aren't just fossils to be thrown out. They are the foundations we built everything on. They are active, essential parts of our current digital world, and we have to manage them like the living, dynamic systems they are.
And that brings us to a final thought to leave you with. From the banking systems that process all our transactions, to the air traffic control software that guides planes safely, our modern world literally runs on legacy tech. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What invisible, aging system is keeping a critical part of your own life running right this very second?